In this video I will show how Brexit is a satanic ritual of the Rothschilds, and that the Rothschilds and the City of London and the Freemasons are behind Brexit. Now, the European Union was actually created by the UK and America after the Second World War, and its purpose was to unite the European markets, and it has done that. But now through Brexit, the Rothschilds want to break down the European Union and crash the euro. And why they want to do this is because they want Europe to allow goods from China and the US. So if you want a one world government, you can't have these trade tariffs between one union and another union. So you have to integrate them and take down the tariffs. And that's what they want to do with the European Union. So they want the European Union to import goods from America and China. Also, the European Union has, as I say, these trade tariffs, and it also has a lot of state industries, and it subsidizes farmers and things like that. And the Rothschilds want to break that down and have everything owned by corporate companies. So that is the reason for Brexit. And the UK was always separate from the European Union because the UK represents the interests of the City of London. And the City of London do not pay tax and do not want to be part of the laws of the EU. But it actually created the EU, as I say, to integrate European markets. And so through Brexit, the Rothschilds are going to crash the European Union, and it looks like we're going to have a hard Brexit. Now, when this crash happens, the UK will be protected from that crash because it will be outside the European Union. So the Rothschilds are trying to prevent contagion of that crisis. But this economic crisis in the EU, which will be after Brexit, will be a run-up to World War III. And Boris Johnson and Donald Trump, who are both backed by the Rothschilds and are funded by the wealthiest Zionists, will take us into that World War III. And Brexit is a satanic ritual, just like 9/11 was. And you can clearly see the signs, and I will explain them in this video. Now here you have Boris Johnson, and he's a very close friend with Jacob Rothschild. And the Johnson family is close friends with the Rothschilds. Boris Johnson was in the Bullingdon Club, and that is a secret society, and he was in the same year as James Cameron, and David Cameron, who put forth Brexit, the referendum. And so these people are part of secret societies, and they have a secret agenda. Now Boris Johnson's younger brother, Joe Johnson, was also in the Bullingdon Club in the same year as Nathaniel Rothschild and George Osborne. So they are very close friends with the Rothschilds, and Boris Johnson is a front man for the Rothschild family. And here we have Boris Johnson with Jacob Rothschild. They're in front of Wollaston Manor, very similar to the film Eyes Wide Shut, where they have the sexual orgy. And Boris Johnson is doing his hands, and has his hands in his pockets, doing the hidden hand gesture of the Freemasons. Remember, he's a member of the Bullingdon Club. Here we have Boris Johnson, close friend of Rothschild. Boris Johnson supports everything Israel does. Close friends with Benjamin Netanyahu. Boris Johnson said that he considers himself Jewish. And here is Friends of Israel. Boris Johnson backs them. Now, the Rothschilds were the main owners of the Bank of England before World War II, and World War I was about the creation of Israel, and then the Rothschilds got the Balfour Declaration. So the Rothschilds created Israel. Then World War II, the Rothschilds through the Bank of England funded Adolf Hitler through the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements in Switzerland. And now we're going to have a third world war where Israel will expand, and there will be a war with Iran. And this is all funded by the Rothschilds. Before the Second World War, you had a Great Depression, and also before the First World War. And so you can clearly see that Brexit will lead to another crash, because we're due a crash, and the excuse will be Brexit. But this crash is going to happen anyway, just because of the way the markets are, and the banks are lending money, and every country now is in debt. So you have Boris Johnson here in front of Westminster Manor, very similar to the film Eyes Wide Shut, where they have the sexual ritual. And the Rothschilds are known Satanists, or they worship Lucifer, the elite. And here we have the Brexit logo presented by the BBC, and you have a 5-pointed star in a circle, so very similar to witchcraft and the Baphomet. Okay, here we have the Baphomet. You see the Baphomet is a 5-pointed star in a circle, and this is where the UK bit is. So you can clearly see that the Brexit logo by the BBC employed Jimmy Savile, who was a Satanist connected with the establishment, and you can clearly see you have here a 5-pointed star with a circle. Here we have the Rothschilds, so you can clearly see that they have strange satanic parties, very similar to the film Eyes Wide Shut. And in this article we can see the connections between that and the film Eyes Wide Shut, where they have the sexual orgy. And the film was actually filmed in a Rothschild house in England. Okay, the ritual scene, the satanic ritual. Here we have an article in the New Statesman by a journalist, and he says, what the hell is going on with the Brexit logo? So this might be some kind of Masonic symbolism here, because he doesn't explain it fully, but hell, and then you have the 5-pointed star, and just to make sure it is a satanic logo, the BBC stick it in a circle. So they put a circle around it, just like the Baphomet. Okay, just like that symbol there. And we know that the Rothschilds were part of the Illuminati, and the Illuminati worshipped the Baphomet along with the Freemasons. Okay. And here we have Brexit is actually on Halloween. And Halloween is considered a satanic month by the Church of Satan, which was created by Anton LaVey. And one of the main days is October the 31st, Halloween. Now Brexit will occur on the 31st of October, Halloween, and in the European Union it will be at 12 o'clock, and that is the witching hour. Okay, so you can clearly see the satanic links between Brexit and October the 31st, Freemasonry and the Rothschilds and the satanic agenda behind it. And in England it will be at the 11th hour, and we know that the 11, like in 9/11, is an extremely important date to the Freemasons. Like World War I ended on the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month. 11, 11, 11 is 33. 33 is the highest number of the Freemasons. Okay, so here we have Anton LaVey, Church of Satan, showing you that Halloween is an extremely important day in the Church of Satan, because it becomes between the two solstices and two equinoxes. Okay, so it's a very important day in the Church of Satan. Now Boris Johnson, who is a frontman of the Rothschilds, Bullingdon Club member, is constantly being compared to Winston Churchill, and there are lots of similarities. They both have American Jewish backgrounds. Okay, now Boris Johnson is the 77th Prime Minister of the UK, so you have the 7-7 symbolism. He is the 14th Prime Minister under Queen Elizabeth. 7 adds 7 is 14. Churchill was the first Prime Minister of Queen Elizabeth. Is Boris Johnson the last Prime Minister under Queen Elizabeth II? Boris Johnson was unelected. When he got into power, so was Winston Churchill. Boris Johnson has actually written a book called The Churchill Factor, and the media are always connecting Churchill with Boris Johnson. And with Boris Johnson, with Brexit, it's seen as a victory in Europe. But Churchill was war leader during World War II, and it looks like Boris Johnson, who's presented us this eccentric British aristocrat, will take us into World War III. And Brexit, as I say, with its satanic date, is part of this agenda, as we can see. And it will likely be a hard Brexit. Okay? So this is all part of the plan. Just like 9/11 was. You can see here Boris Johnson, David Cameron, Nigel Farage with Donald Trump. Nigel Farage is a Freemason. He worked over 20 years in the City of London as a stockbroker in metals. The Rothschilds control the gold price. If you work in the City of London, you have to be a Freemason. His father was also a part of the City of London, and here he is giving a Masonic handshake. Now, the referendum party was created by James Goldsmith. James Goldsmith got his money through the Rothschild family, and James Goldsmith was the secret father of Princess Diana. Now, the referendum party became UKIP, and UKIP recruited many members of the referendum party. So the referendum party is connected to the Rothschilds and the City of London, and it's there to protect the interests of the City of London, who do not want to pay tax and who do not want to be subject to the laws of the EU, because all the wealth which is in the City of London and the Crown and the Rothschilds' wealth, which is in the trillions, is secret, and it's protected by the City of London. So the City of London do not want the EU meddling in those affairs, although the City of London actually created the EU after the Second World War so they could integrate European markets. And that is the point of Brexit. Okay, so part one of Brexit has been fulfilled, the integration of the European markets. Now they want to crash Brexit through this satanic ritual, which is Brexit, and they want to crash the European Union so that the European Union becomes more integrated with a world market. So to take it to the next stage, because it's all good having these unions, the American Union, the African Union, the European Union, but in the end you have to integrate them if you're going to have a one world government. And that is the plan behind Brexit. It is part of the New World Order and a continuation of it. And it's organised by the City of London and the Rothschilds. And here we have, you can clearly see that it's on the October the 31st, a satanic date. The Rothschilds are into Satanism, and it will be on the witching hour. So at 12 o'clock on the 31st will be Brexit. And in England it will be 11, a very important number to the Freemasons. So I hope that I've explained Brexit to you and what it's about, and how this will be a stepping stone to World War III and the fulfillment of the agenda which started off in 9/11. Okay, thank you.